Sometimes it's a full song. Sometimes it's a chorus. Sometimes it's a theme. And on special occasions, it's everything at once. And that doesn't happen for me regularly. That's rare.
Between the Grooves is hosted by James Curtis, music director and morning man in the Greater Toronto Area on Joy Radio, and Ayiesha Woods, Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and musician. Together, they talk with artists and industry insiders to discover our connection between music and faith. You can connect with us on Facebook or Twitter at Between Grooves. Now, here's James and Ayiesha.
Welcome to Between the Grooves. James Curtis along with Ayiesha Woods. How are you doing, Ayiesha?
Hey. I'm doing great. It's summertime, my friend.
Oh, my favorite season. It really is.
Really?
Yeah, I like the, kind of the laid back, take a breather, go on vacation, that sort of scenario. And I also like the fact that I don't have to wear a winter coat. I mean, in Canada, you're from Orlando, so you don't have to worry about that. But in Canada, it's like, as soon as the fall hits, you're, got to put the jacket on and then got to dress warmer and warmer. Oh, now it's time for a sweater weather.
My goodness.
And then it's the hat and the scarf and shoveling snow and everything else. I just the only thing I don't like about summer is cutting the grass.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it because it's a chore. It's something that I have to do as soon as the grass gets to a certain length. I can't control how fast it grows, right? So it's like, well, I guess, I was planning to do this on such and such a day, but no, I got to cut the grass instead because it's grown to a length that if I wait any longer, it's going to get way too long to be able to handle properly. So that's the only thing I don't like. Although, in fairness, I have a son who can cut the grass and
right. Put him to work.
I do. It's one of his chores, but I do all the trimming work and stuff, so I kind of got to coordinate with him anyways. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. But other than that, I just love summer.
Speaking of cutting the grass, it's interesting because we're on vacation this week and with my husband's side of the family. And on Friday of last week, the boys got up. And of course, they're not in school because they're on summer break. The first thing that my husband told them to do was get the yard ready because we're going to be out of town next week on vacation. And sure enough, they got out there and got that yard sorted, got the grass cut, got the weed eater, got everything edged. And I'm so proud of them because they're 11 and 9, my 2 older boys. And he's taught them. And so now I'm like, at some point in time when they have families of their own, they'll know how to cut the grass and keep a yard nice and presentable.
So what did they do? What did your kids do at 9 and 11? What would they do out? I mean, are they pushing the lawnmower or are they just weeding or
yes.
What are they doing?
Yeah, they're doing all of it. They are running the lawnmower. And my 9-year-old, it was funny because he was in the backyard and it stopped. The lawnmower stopped. I think he went over something. And it was interesting watching him try to restart it.
Right.
After a few tries, it came back on. But yeah, they're mowing the yard. They are edging. They are weed eating and just straightening up. It's nice.
The nice thing, of course, is you do that before you go away. And then hopefully when you come back, there's not this huge mess or stuff that you got to deal with, right? Versus, you know what, it looks okay, we'll just leave it and you come back from vacation and now you're going to be busy with work.
Oh, my gracious. And listen, that was Friday. Saturday morning, I had them all up. Everybody could participate. And I was like, today is cleaning day. We're going on vacation tomorrow. So the entire house is spotless so that when we come home off of vacation, we're coming home to a spotless house.
Right.
it just makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Not that it's not clean, regularly, but you just go the extra mile when you get ready to go on vacation.
Sure. And the nice thing too is you're not coming back to a whole bunch of work. You hear people say all the time after they get back from vacation, how was your vacation? Oh, I need another vacation.
I need a vacation. Yeah. Right.
Because they got a lot of work to deal with when they come back, catching up, in their workplace or even at home and stuff. So,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I've noticed a lot of, in the summertime in particular, and this has happened over the last few years, even pre-pandemic, where songwriters set themselves up for a songwriting challenge where they'll say, I'm going to write a song a week all summer long, or a song a day, or whatever, and I don't know if this is because they have lots of time on their hands, or they just want this challenge, to explore different ways to write songs or different themes for songs or whatever.
Right.
Have you ever done that?
You know what? I have. And it's interesting because I'll go through seasons, and certain seasons call for certain type of writing style, I guess, and a level of creativity. I was sharing with somebody just recently about how the Lord spoke to me and said that there was a wave of creativity coming. And I don't know how long this wave of creativity is going to last. It could be, it could be over the summer. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 6 months. I don't know. But in this season, I've written probably 2 to 3 songs from start to finish, just solid. And people around me in my inner circle, they've written full out songs in this season. So I think to have like a set time, I haven't had a set time where I said, okay, at 3:00 every day, I'm going to sit down and be quiet and try and write some music. It hasn't been like that for me. Like, I'll wake up and have a song just in my heart, something that I dreamt about, or something from a message that I've heard in church. A full song will come out of it. So it's different. I guess it's different for writers. But it's an interesting season, and I'm just riding the wave while it's flowing.
I'm wondering if the deadlines actually work. And what I mean by that is, if somebody, a songwriter, has decided I'm going to write a song a week, can they achieve what they would want to achieve in a quality song, or is it just like, I got to meet the deadline, so here's what I got?
Yeah, I think it's different for different people, because at the end of the day, it does come down to a certain amount of discipline. One of the songwriters and artists that I highly respect, I know that this person sits down every day and takes time to write music. And I mean, kudos to them, because their songs are playing on the radio every day, on every Christian radio station around the globe. So it's working, obviously.
Who's this artist? Can you say?
This artist is Toby Mac.
Oh, really? I thought,
yes.
I didn't think about Toby Mac. I was actually thinking Torrin Wells.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does the same thing, because he's always got a song, and sometimes he's got multiple songs charting at the same time. The only way you could do that is to continuously be writing.
Right. And it's, I don't know what their schedules are, but I believe if you do carve out time, for me, look, I got 4 little boys. I've got a ton of other things.
Grass to cut. chores to do in the house, house cleaning. Absolutely. Yeah.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to write a song while I'm on vacation about vacation.
Right. A Christian song, of course.
Summertime.
I would find it really difficult, maybe specifically in the summertime, to stay disciplined and stay on target and on focus writing a song. I've never written a song. Well, actually, I think I tried when I was like a teenager or something like that, but it was really
Did you really?
Really hokey. And my brother, who's
That's funny.
Brilliant musician, just laughed at me. But I don't know if I could stay disciplined and focused that way. And I suppose the other thing too is how do you continue getting the creative juices flowing if every week or every day or whatever your time frame is, you've got to come up with a new song, and it's got to be, I would think you would want it to be a decent song.
Right. I can only speak for myself, and sometimes it's a full song. Sometimes it's a chorus. Sometimes it's a theme. And on special occasions, it's everything at once. And that doesn't happen for me regularly. Like I'll have a concept and I will jot down the chorus idea or whatever comes to mind. But yeah, that's rare, at least for me, for someone to just have a full out polished song from start to finish, all of the moving parts completed in a short period of time.
And when you write a song, is your I think everybody probably has a different way of writing songs, and I know there's voice memos and there's stuff that you getting ideas from that brainwave that you had 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or 2 years ago, and now taking that and using that to write a song. But for you, what is a song? What is a song that's being written? Is it something where you just got the lyrics written down or do you actually record like a quick little recording on the piano or another instrument, and now that's the finished song? Not professionally recorded, obviously, but that's you've achieved what you wanted to achieve during this this challenge that you
little
set
season
yourself
or
up
what
for.
have you.
Yeah.
For me, I can break open my voice memos and I have several hundred. And those are song ideas or full out songs that I've gotten and sent to like other writers or producers or even myself. Like I'll send myself stuff and then go back and revisit. I have so many voice memos of song ideas. And I will, if I'm at my office, I'll grab my guitar and kind of pluck out what I'm hearing or strum what I'm hearing. And sometimes it's just vocals, you know? So it's different. Probably different for different artists as far as what they play, if they even play instruments,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I suppose it would be helpful, obviously, to have those voice memos and stuff. And when I think of a songwriter posting on social media saying, hey, I'm doing a songwriting challenge for the next 10 weeks or all summer long or for the next 3 months or whatever, going to come up with a song every week, I immediately get the impression that it's like, here I am starting from scratch, going to write a song, when that's not necessarily true if you're going back onto some previous voice memos and ideas that you had previously. It's just like more taking a previous idea and cultivating it and making something happen with that. Because I just don't know how you could stay creative and stay fresh and especially if you just get sidetracked with other stuff that happens in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the same is true for concepts and other ideas. Like I've gotten in the middle of the night ideas for businesses or just processes and models for things that I have going on in my life. And shucks, the voice memo is perfect for that as well. I'll just record what it is that drops in my spirit. So if it's me just talking about something or a dream that I had, or like, that's one way that the Lord speaks to me, is through dreams. And so apart from my voice memo, I have a journal and I have my notes where I will write down specifically what I had just seen in a dream.
Can you actually remember dreams though? I forget. I wake up and I remember parts of it, and then a few seconds later it's gone. And even though it was a great dream, and then I try to get back to sleep to get back into the dream again, and it's gone. Like I'm thinking about how I left off, and how do you resume a dream?
Oh my gracious! Those things are for me clear indications that there is, in fact, a God that is concerned about every single detail of our lives. Because I can look at my life now and where I am, specifically what I'm doing at this season of my life. It's because God gave it to me in a dream years and years before. I'm seeing stuff that God showed me so long ago. And what's crazy is I've documented this stuff. So there's no way I'm not that clever. Okay. Like I can't make this stuff up.
You're more clever than me, I think so.
I just cannot make this stuff up. So when I look at my notes and my journals and listen to my voice memos, and I'm seeing things happening in my life now that God showed or spoke back in, maybe 2012 or 2002, things like that. It's like, okay, no one can convince me otherwise.
I'm a little baffled on how, it's one thing to remember a dream. It's another thing to wake up, because I've many times had, brilliant ideas in the middle of the night, while I'm sleeping, and I wake up and I either scribble it down or I type it into my phone, and then I wake up the next morning thinking, what the heck is that? Like, I have no idea what I've written down. I have no idea what I was thinking. The spelling's off or whatever, or the just handwriting is awful. So what do you wake up completely just to do that and then try to get back to sleep?
Yes, I do. I totally do. And I'm going to tell you how crazy this is. Just over the weekend, we had a scheduled recording session, but I had a dream a few nights prior, and certain things that were not planned ended up taking place in that recording session, things that I dreamt about. And it was bananas because I got up when I saw it, I dreamt it up, wrote it down, and then in the session, days later, my husband and I were going over it, and I was just like, okay, this is crazy. God still speaks. He cares about us that much, like nothing takes him by surprise. It may take us by surprise, especially when he when he shows himself in such a way. And it's not anything that will ever get old to me. I stand in awe regularly because God, he just shows himself, and I can't doubt him, you know? I don't know how we got on this, but
yeah.
He's so good to us.
Well, we were talking obviously about songwriting challenges, and it's the summertime, and that's when a lot of people or a lot of artists will spend some time. I suppose part of the reason why is because there's a lot of summer festivals, and they've got time perhaps to write when they're traveling from gig to gig.
Right.
Or you know, they've shown up, they've done their sound check. Now they got 3 or 4 hours to kill before they're actually on stage. So obviously they're spending some time doing artist interviews with radio stations or podcasts or whatever, and then you know, hey, I've got some time to kill, as it were, and they're writing songs. But I've also found that this is a season when, you know, summertime, you're not even thinking about Christmas, but this is when a lot of artists are writing and starting to record Christmas music to get it out in time for radio and streaming.
One of the things that the Lord spoke to me years ago, and I'm still trying to make it a full out practice in my life. He said, discipline plus consistency equals payoff. So kudos to those artists and songwriters carve out the time and exercise discipline and consistency with their songwriting, because the payoff is evident. You know.
Yeah,
I'm still working on it.
Well, we've chatted with so many artists over the years on Between the Grooves, and you know, time and time again, you hear about the literally hundreds of songs that they've written that never necessarily see the light of day, because now they're going to take the best of those hundreds and you know, maybe it's just 1 or 2 or a few going on to an album or releasing 1 or 2 as a single or whatever. And that's what you might see as far as their songs that they have on the streaming services or that you hear on the radio. And it's incredible because you've got an artist that's, you know, a prolific artist that's been around for years and years. Like think of a Michael W. Smith or a Chris Tomlin or one of these guys that have like tons and tons of songs. I could just imagine what it would be like if they ever did a request at one of their shows and they can't remember what song it is because it was so long ago, and they wrote it so long ago, and they've written so many since. You know, can you imagine? It's like, oh, what song is that? Right. You know, it's like I kind of recognize the title. I have no idea how it goes. Talking about Christmas music in this season of summer, the other thing you'll see is Christmas videos. You won't see the videos, but you'll see artists posting about, you know, the fact that they're recording videos and stuff. Now's right about the time. And you think to yourself, it's stinking hot outside, and here they are with, you know, winter coats and backdrop of Christmas trees and snow falling and whatever else. You know, if
you're going to try and pull that off, don't do it outside here in Florida. I
know. But whatever it takes to make it happen. I mean, that's all part of planning out the whole course of the year and planning out when you release music and stuff. And I think you mentioned about the fact that if you're going to be releasing Christmas music, or if you're going to be releasing music, say September, October, if it's not Christmas music, maybe you want to hold off until early in the new year and release it when you're going to get some more exposure.
Yes, indeed.
More so for radio. Streaming probably doesn't matter as much because I don't know that people necessarily get into I shouldn't say that. I don't really get into the Christmas mode as far as me enjoying listening to the music until December. Having said that, I was just about
to ask you.
Well, for me, like on the radio side of things, I'm working on Christmas music usually the end of September, definitely October.
Okay.
And what's neat about that?
So what's too early to start playing it?
Well, I think the general rule of thumb is radio stations begin playing Christmas music after American Thanksgiving, or at least after Black Friday. For me, at the radio station here in Toronto, I don't start playing it until December 1st. So some radio stations will already be playing Christmas music, like the mainstream secular radio stations. Some of them have already started playing Christmas music. I don't get into it until December 1st. Having said that, I've personally been listening to new Christian music since October, because artists themselves should be sending their music to the radio stations, I would say by the end of October at the latest. You start sending it in November. See, radio stations are trying to
get buried.
Yeah, it is. It's going to get buried and may not even get played, because radio stations are trying to get ahead of the game, because people take time off at Christmas, which means that the music programmers, the guys that actually are scheduling the music, they need to be a couple of weeks ahead in scheduling music. So if you send it the third week in November, as an example, you might only get that song played a handful of times, versus if you want to get the full Christmas season, as far as radio is concerned, you want to get the full exposure to music, send it earlier than later.
Right. Note taken. I hope folks are taking notes.
Yeah, I start getting Christmas music. Last year, I think it was the last week in September that I started receiving stuff. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. So,
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you some Christmas music from an artist that I'm working with. I'm going to send it to you next week, okay?
That's okay. We can make a record. This will be a record for me, getting music in the summertime for an artist. Now, who's this artist?
Monique Sade.
Monique.
Listen,
now, you and I have chatted offline about Monique. We're going to have her on the podcast one of these days.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about it, and we're gonna have to have a conversation about releasing some Christmas music.
Okay. About you, about her, or about her in general?
No, her.
Okay.
Her
Sounds
releasing some Christmas music.
Okay. So you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. Christmas music on the way from Monique. What's Monique's last name again?
Monique Sade.
Sade. Perfect. So be looking forward to that as well.
Yay, fun times.
Yes, and speaking of times, we are out of time on this episode of Between the Grooves. It's time for us to go. In fact, if you listen really carefully, you can hear that music. Thanks to our very proficient producer, Justine.
Because she rocks.
She rocks. She makes it happen for us. Thank you once again, Justine, for all the hard work that she does. She does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, including a lot of our social media stuff. And if it weren't for her, you probably would never hear about the podcast, because you'd never know about new episodes, because she's the one that posts a lot of that stuff. So thank you to her for that. And thank you to our listeners who are faithful listeners of Between the Grooves. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us wherever you listen, and follow us on the socials as well.
Thanks for listening to Faith Strong Today's Between the Grooves podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider sharing it with your friends, rating our podcast, or giving us some love on your socials to your amazing friends and followers will only help us reach more people. We'd also love to hear from you and share your feedback in an upcoming episode. Send your video or written message to Ayiesha and James on Facebook and Twitter @Between Grooves, or email us anytime, hello@faithstrongtoday.com.